This is Financial Straight Talk with Jim Fox.
It is Financial Straight Talk, and we are happy to have you with us. Alongside Jim Fox, he's the founder, president, and investment advisor representative with Wadadley Financial Group. My name's Kevin McAlpin. Jim and I thank you so much for joining us on the show. We're here every single weekend talking all things retirement. And if you heard us in the previous segment, if you've been thinking about DIYing your way through retirement, well, we certainly hope you've understood there's a lot of variables that come along with it. And if you'd like to sit down, maybe you've never sat down and had conversations with an advisor like Jim to start putting a plan in place for your retirement, it all starts with one phone call to 321-414-7526. 321-414-PLAN or online at getfst.com. So Jim saw a recent editorial on Business Insider telling the story of a couple from New Jersey as they were approaching retirement. Now, they bought their dream home a little ways down the road in a Delaware beach town, and things were going great until they weren't. A couple of years later, they had grown homesick for the city life they left behind. Now, this editorial ended by saying, retirement decisions aren't always about money. Sometimes they need to be driven by what enriches the soul. So, Jim, I know we talk a lot about the financial component of retirement on this show, but let's talk about the mindset side of things. What happens when retirees come in, they sit down with you? Maybe they do have regrets. Maybe they picked up and moved to Florida on a whim, and they're thinking, you know what, maybe I didn't think all of these different variables through before we pulled that trigger.
And it happens all the time, right? It truly does. And it could be the moving thing. The moving thing happens a lot, especially when, you know, they retire and they move down here because their kids are down here. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they start thinking to themselves, you know, all my friends are up there and now I'm down here. And I mean, granted, I love seeing the grandkids, but, you know, my kids don't want me won't be around all the time, right? Mm-hmm. And so I see that, but it's not just that, right? It's other things too. Like, you know, I should have bought that RV, or I shouldn't have bought that RV, right? And yeah. So there is. I always tell people that when I sit down and I haven't done this in a while, and I wish we were on air, so you know, like a video, so I could show this. And what I'm doing is I'm holding up my fingers, right, my thumb and my pointer finger, and I don't know, probably 3 inches, 4 inches. That is about how much like stock picking and financial planning I really do, right? Very, very small amount. Mm-hmm. Now I'm opening up my hands, and there's probably somewhere in the neighborhood, I don't know, 12 inches, right? Maybe a little bit more. That is how much tax planning and really getting into the minutia of that I do, right? Mm-hmm. Now I'm holding my arms. I don't know what the arm span is on a dude that's 6 foot, almost 6'1". I have no idea what that is, but I don't know, call it 5 feet, let's call it. Mm-hmm. My arms are as far out as I can get them. That's how much retirement psychology I do. And what I mean by that is I spend more time getting to know what you want to accomplish, what you want to do in retirement, and get you to think about it in ways that it makes sense. Because sometimes, unfortunately, I have to dial you down. I'm in the process of doing that right now with a client who, in my opinion, is asking for way too much money on a monthly basis, right, than what they need. Because I've known them for 14 years. I don't think they need that much money. And by pulling that much money, it makes them tax inefficient. It also risks them running out of money at around 87 years old, right? So these are the things I have to look at. But everybody has a different story. And the problem is that my industry has spent decades selling, you know, forget stocks and bucks, because back in the day it wasn't like schmucks like us just couldn't go buy stocks, really. I remember they were in the paper, right? I mean, you have to call a broker and they'd be like, what do you mean you got $350? Get off the phone, right? So like back in the day, folks like us would buy mutual funds, right? And you just buy a mutual fund and see how that turned out for you, right? And I mean, that's what our grandparents did. If they had money, mine didn't. But if y'all's did, they did. And then what your parents did and all the other stuff. And the reality is there was never any talk about the why. It was just the return. Like, look, so this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to do this and I'm going to get money. But it was never understanding how that money was going to help you in retirement, what it was going to do for you in retirement. And so I spend so much time especially with the younger folks that are nearing retirement. You know, they have 2 years, they have 5 years out. What do you want to do? And those, I mean, everyone's my favorite. I shouldn't say these are my favorite, but they have, if you have a couple years before you retire, we kind of are building the perfect storm for you, right? As opposed to the perfect storm being built against you. And what I mean by that is you still got great income for a few years. We can tackle debt. We can really say, hey, dial up your investments. Are you ready for this, Kevin? A lot of times I got clients that say, hey, you're putting too much into your 401k. Let's back it down so we can knock out some of the debt, right? This is shocking to some of our listeners right now. And the reason being is that we want to make sure we're efficiently using our money to accomplish our goals. Now, by the way, I will never tell you not to take the free match. So keep that in mind. Right. That's always take that. If you take nothing else from our show today, if someone's willing to give you, a dollar for dollar up to 2%, find the 2%. That's 100% return. Take it. It's free money. Take it, right? Yeah. But when we sit down, our focus is always going to be on the psychology around retirement. What do we want to accomplish? How are we going to do it? And then I build the plan on how we're going to fund it. Right? Mm-hmm. And that is what I work diligently on, is figuring out how can we generate the income to do the things you want to do and enjoy, and how do we do it as efficiently as possible. And literally it is the one thing that I am most proud of in my office, not me, because Kevin, I love to travel. So I'm a planner at heart, right? Sure. I mean, if I stopped doing this tomorrow, I'd still be planning trips. And I love getting into the minutia and the whys. And then I figure, hey, I could do this for this much, or I could do this. And I start trying to find the deals, right? Mm-hmm. But some people don't do that. Some people go to travel agents. Some people like cruises because they don't have to think about anything, right? Mm-hmm. You don't want to do the cruise equivalent of retirement, because you could end up on the Carnival Cruise boat from hell. Okay. And you don't want that in retirement. You want to have a really great experience. And it all comes down to understanding your why. Why do you do things you do? And what makes me so proud of, I kind of went off on a tangent there, is that I've got these young guys that are starting to get it. Right? They're getting it. They're coming in and they're saying, Jim, this is what they think they want, but I think they're asking for too much. We should clarify. Or more importantly, Jim, I think they're leaving thousands of dollars on the table each month because they want to wait a little bit longer. I think we should show them this idea. That's the power of having planners in your corner. Mm-hmm. Right? It's so amazing when those things start to come together. But the reality is if you don't make the right decisions, if you don't have a team of people who are working to help you create this retirement that you deserve, you start making emotional decisions. And emotional decisions a lot of times turn out to be not the right decision for you. So that's why we spend so much time sitting and walking you through this. I love some of our clients, and some of them do wacky stuff, bro. I have no idea. I have one client, I think he owns 7 Fieros. Why? But he loves them, right? I mean, this guy has a $250,000 Fiero collection, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody has a different button. That's what we want to do. And that cookie cutter process just stops working for so many people. Listen, if you just want to buy investments, and if you just want to buy an annuity, there's plenty of dudes out there that's going to do that for each and every one of you. But if you want someone's going to sit in the corner with you and argue with you, and I do this, unfortunately, I raise my own blood pressure sometimes. I want you to know that if I think you're making a mistake, I'm going to tell you, I think you're making a mistake, and here's why. That is worth its weight in gold, because you want an advocate in your corner saying, don't do that because it endangers you here. Or equally as important, don't do that because I'd rather you have an extra $4,000 a month at age 65 than wait until your RMD started at age 75, and now you got to take out $8,000 a month. That's what we do each and every day. And none of that's possible if we didn't sit down, walk you through your goals, walk you through all the analytics. then do the work on our end to make sense of all that. I get it. There's a lot of moving parts here. And sometimes Jim just rambles, and that's how I feel like I'm doing right now. Let me get to the point here. More importantly, our job is to help you enjoy the retirement that you deserve and do it in a way that makes sense. We do it with the least amount of volatility, right? Because that matters to retirees. And we do it in a place that's most tax efficient. So as long as you're living, we want you to be super tax efficient. Sooner or later, you're going to get sick. Maybe you're going to die. Die's easy. Death is an easy problem to fix because I just move it on to your next person. Right. But what happens if you get sick? We need to check that box and figure that out. But when you die, your money's going to go to somebody or a charity or something that you care about. And we want to make sure that that happens as efficiently as possible. That's what we do day in and day out. And I dare to say it is our jam. It is what we do. It is what I love to do. And if you don't have a good, solid understanding of that, that's what we're here for. You can pick up Kevin's about to give you the number. Pick up the phone and give us a call. We're not trying to sell you anything. We want to help you enjoy the retirement you deserve, but we don't want you to move to Arizona like one of my clients did and go, why is it so hot here? Because it's Arizona, buddy. That's why.
It's a dry heat, though, Jim.
There's no damn. Listen, don't fall for that nonsense, okay? If it's 108 there and it's 94 here, trust me, they both suck, okay? But your friends are here. Bring your butt back home. Mm-hmm. This is what we talk about. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we do. Kevin's going to give you the information. Reach out. We're here to help. Hopefully you hear the passion in my voice. Hopefully you hear the conviction in the things that I'm saying. And I'll leave you with this. All I want you to do is have the opportunities to get the advice that people like my mom and dad never got.
No doubt about it. If you're looking for that advice, it all starts with one phone call to Jim Fox and his team at Wadadley Financial Group. If you'd like to learn more, folks, as we mention all the time, there's no cost, there's no obligation. Start putting that plan in place for your retirement today by dialing 321-414-7526. 321-414-PLAN or online anytime at getfst.com. That's getfst.com. And I'll tell you a quick story real quick before we get to the final word, Jim. You'll appreciate this. In Arizona, many years ago when I used to travel with the Braves, I was sitting by the pool and it was one of those 115-degree days. My room key melted into a circle. And there is young K-Mac walking through the lobby of a very, very fancy hotel in board shorts, flip-flops, no T-shirt, and a towel going, hey, my room key melted outside. Crazy. So 115 is still 115, whether it's a dry
Preach.
or a humid heat. I am right there with you. I learned that lesson the hard way. Well, speaking of leaving the floor all yours, we are very quickly running out of time. So, Jim, before they pull the plug on us, the floor is all yours today for the final word.
Ladies and gentlemen, every week, Kevin and I say the same thing. We know that you have tons of options when it comes to getting financial information, and we're just honored to be one of your resources. So like we've said a million times, if there's anything we can do for you, pick up the phone, give us a call. My team is standing by right now. But with all that being said, on behalf of myself and Mr. Kevin Mack, I want to thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Financial Straight Talk.
Thanks for listening to Financial Straight Talk with Jim Fox. To learn more, visit getfst.com.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Wadadley Financial Group. Wadadley Financial Group is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Wadadley Financial Group are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. Wadadley Financial Group is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any government agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Wadadley Financial Group.